Today, New York native Tommy Delutz seeks PBA title number 3. In his way to the PBA's toughest competitors, Tommy Jones and his buddy, the big nasty Wes Malott. And just when you thought there was a front-runner for Player of the Year honors, the greatest ever stops by the party. A title today, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. is back in the lead. Got Weber? We do. The Hall of Famer rounds out our GEICO Open cast. We welcome you to West Babylon, New York on Long Island for the PBA GEICO Classic. It's the second to last event on this season's PBA Tour, and here's today's March Madness bowling bracket. Number 5 seed Wes Malott must win at least 2 matches today to stay in the Player of the Year hunt. Number 4 seed Walter Ray Williams Jr. could lead that field in the next hour and a half. 3 seed Tommy Jones seeks his 2nd title of the season and 12th of his career. Tommy Delutz always rolls well in his home state, and he's got a big fan following here today. And our number 1 seed is reigning U.S. Open champ and Hall of Famer Pete Weber, looking for his 1st title of the season. Happy Easter to you and yours, Rob Stone. Randy Peterson with you. A loaded 5-bowler field here today. Sitting on top of that pack for the first time this season is 34-time titleist Pete Weber. After a 2-week hiatus from the lanes, he's back, he's focused, he's refreshed, and he has a certain tournament looming next week that he's very focused on.
Next week's U.S. Open, Pete, the defending champ, and after a couple of weeks off, Pete actually used this tournament to get back into bowling shape. Remember, Weber has not won yet this season. And today, he's looking for his 1st title of the season, and he finds himself in the most enviable position of needing only 1 win to capture his 35th title.
Our first match of the day, a top 5 Player of the Year showdown, Wes Malott versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. Walter Ray needs to finish at least 3rd today to tie Chris Barnes atop the Player of the Year race.
And Walter Ray admitted to us last night that the Player of the Year race is on his mind, but only when he's off the lanes. On the lanes, the cash cow is all business. And with a win today, the winningest player in the history of professional bowling will eclipse $4 million in career earnings.
Just 4 bowlers are still alive in that Denny's Player of the Year race. 2 of them are with us today, both of them bowling up now. Wes Malott versus Walter Ray Williams Jr. A title today for Malott. He jumps to 3rd, 10 points behind Chris Barnes. If Walter Ray makes today's final, he will leapfrog Barnes into 1st place with just next week's U.S. Open remaining. And Malott will start us off here in match number 1, the native of Argyle, Texas. The big nasty to open us up here on Long Island. And the big nasty taking a big break right now as he's doing a little tape job to his ball.
Yeah, that Player of the Year race is a little sketchy, and there's a couple of players that could really throw a wrench into the whole picture. Mike Scroggins still has an outside shot. If he were to go on next week and win the U.S. Open, that would put him at the top of the list if Chris Barnes wouldn't make the telecast, depending on what Walter Ray does today. So there's still 4 players in the hunt for the Player of the Year race.
Including this man, Wes Malott. Big hook through the nose, and Wes starting off a little more to the right than we're going to see him as the day continues.
Yeah, and I thought he would start a little bit deeper than this. The theme this week for the oil pattern was lots of friction. You're going to see the players throwing it very, very fast, using less aggressive stuff, and there is a lot of hook out there.
So Wes opens up with a 9. And here is Walter Ray Williams Jr., all-time leader with 44 tour titles. The native of Ocala, 2nd in the Player of the Year race.
Early on, both players coming up a little bit high, and again, that's that friction. And on the cheetah pattern, only 35 feet of oil, lots and lots of friction. The key, keep the ball speed up.
We're going to talk about that oil pattern. It is it's going to affect things majorly today. We may even see a gutter ball or two.
We saw a few of those this week. Because you're playing the extreme outside part of the lane, if you get a little bit carried away, it will go in.
Hello, pocket.
And that's vintage Walter Ray. Red ball up 5.
That's kind of the buzz phrase around the locker room, isn't it? When Walter Ray is dialed in.
Red ball at 5.
Red ball at 5. That may be, you know what? That should be the title of the Walter Ray story.
Sounds like a good title for a movie.
Yeah, red ball at 5. Maybe we get Harrison Ford or something for that. Big nasty, Wes Malott working off an open frame here in the second. Look at that hook. And he finds pocket for the first time as we take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. And for the first time on TV, it's Malott versus Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Walter Ray, 44 titles. Wes Malott, only 3. Wes Malott won the Harry Smith Point Leader Award last season, finishing the 06-07 season first in the World Point Rankings.
1 title, 2 runner-up finishes this season for Wes. Back-to-back jacks.
Bartender, make it a double.
So after an open frame in the first, Malott goes XX in the second and the third. Eight and 10 in match play. Lost to Tommy Jones in the position round at Walter Ray. Big whip. And another strike.
Remember, this week was round robin match play. Once you bowled the 14 games of qualifying, it was match play, not the bracketed format. Lost to everybody on the telecast this week. When you see that 0-6, there's only 5 players on television. That's because he had to bowl one of the players twice because of a position round.
Leaves the 10.
Wow.
The week 10 caused by excessive ball speed. When Walter Ray's throwing it that hard, he's got to get the ball to finish higher flush in the pocket, meaning more in the middle of that 1-3 zone.
Does he look like he's thrown it harder than you're used to seeing him?
Absolutely. And when we talked to him last night, he said, you know what, this is more like old school back in the 80s when I really had to get out there and fire it. But keep in mind, he's 48 years old.
Wes Malott set an 18-game PBA record by going 16-2 on Friday in match play. Looking for 3 strikes in a row.
Gosh, that was great. Oh.
Folks at home wonder why you leave a 10-pin. A lot of the times it's because of ball speed and because of entry angle into the pocket. You see that bowling ball was at about the 40 to 45 foot line before it started to go left. That's real sharp. That's a sharp angle into the pocket, and that's what causes the 6 to go around the 10-pin.
Second spare attempt for Malott.
Wes Malott has actually changed his spare shooting technique. Let's take a look at our Etonic Edge, and I'll tell you about the change that he's made. He used to throw a full roller at his spares, meaning the ball would track in between the thumb and fingers. But because of a thumb injury in Vegas, he went to a more traditional style with the thumb and the fingers directly up the back of the bowling ball. This creates a very tight, flat roll and little or no movement down the lane. A great tip for you amateurs at home that are having trouble making single pin spares.
Just curious.
Open frame, strike, strike, spare so far for Malott. We begin the 5th.
What are you worried about?
Dancing with that gutter.
That was way out there. Useful, useful. And this is why the players are playing out that far to the right, because there's dry boards, there's a friction zone there. If it's off your hand good, the ball will respond at that part of the lane.
His 3rd strike of this match. Here's Walter Ray in the 5th.
My carry good on TV or what?
It hasn't been lately, sir. Ebonite Digitrack's system is giving us a reference, the 2 different lines that Walter Ray and Wes Malott are playing. Walter Ray around the 9th board at the arrows, Wes Malott at the 15th board. 6 boards further left. Wes Malott's break point is further right. Walter Ray's a little bit more to the end part of the lane. And that's the difference in power, rev rate and power. Wes Malott's got more power, he's got to play further in.
2nd consecutive frame that Walter Ray's taking care of the 10 pin to get the spare. 6 and 5 under the lights of television this year. 2 titles. Drop and give me 10. His 3rd strike of this match, and when we return, we'll tell you how Walter Ray won another title, even in an off week for the PBA. The Geico Classic is brought to you by Bear. The more you know, the more you trust Bear. By Denny's, home of the real breakfast made just for you. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com. And by Go RVing. Visit GoRVing.com for a free DVD. What will you discover? Go RVing. Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of the Geico Classic, coming your way from AMF Babylon Lanes here on Long Island. And time now for the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood. It's the cheetah oil pattern this week.
35 feet, our shortest pattern of the name patterns that we use. And the boys had to bring the heat this week. A couple different ways to play the lanes. The extreme outside part of the lane, get in like Wes Malott and Tommy Jones, or right in between the two like Pete Weber. The characteristic on this cheetah pattern is an extreme dry boards, the outside part of the lane right there. And the guys are going to use that like adult bumper bowling. Get it to that friction with a good hand at release, and it will always rebound from that spot.
Very little room for error, maximizing the area on the lanes with less wear, i.e. close to the gutter. And you saw that from Wes Malott as he danced with the gutter and curled her home for a strike. And Malott, coming off a strike in the 5th, will roll his effort here in the 6th. Again, must win at least 2 matches today to remain in contention for Player of the Year honors. Man, I mean, the handling of that ball.
Well, the players know that they have some room out there if they throw it well, and there is area left and right if the ball is out of your hand properly. What I like about the shorter pattern is the fact that the players use less aggressive equipment, shinier equipment, and I think that the oil pattern holds up better.
They drop this oil pattern usually on some well-worn lanes, or lanes that have been around a little bit longer and need a little extra TLC, if you will. That outside area less used. Whoa! Nudged up there to the 9, but not enough power behind it to drop it.
Well, he gets a nice break, tripping the 4 out and only leaving the 9 pin. Remember, Wes Malott's last title came on this very cheetah pattern back in January in Medford, Oregon.
Takes care of the spare. Up steps Walter Ray Williams Jr. We asked him yesterday what he did And his week off, he said, relaxed, went home, played some golf, and won a horseshoe tournament. Went down to Brooksville, Florida, windy conditions. Last Saturday, the guy can't help but win. This time leaves the 7.
Wow. Wasn't that hooked up? Wow.
Walter Ray telling us about his horseshoe schedule
Couple dead
coming up as well. Going to Clearwater, going to Missouri, the World Championships in York, PA. This guy is a top-level athlete on multiple levels.
But Rob, really, how much is the wind going to affect a horseshoe? Huh?
I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of horseshoe experience. Take a look at our top 8 finishes, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. tied with Chris Barnes atop of that list. And look who's there sitting in 3rd. Wes Malott, Pete Weber, and Patrick Allen right behind those. There's Walter Ray in the 8. Gets them all to drop.
Walter Ray with 8 telecasts this season. Chris Barnes with 9. Wes Malott with 6, which ties a season high for Wes Malott. He did that last season.
Malott 4 and 3 in singles televised appearances this season. Had a doubles earlier in the year.
Wow, did you see how far right that one got? That one looked like it went out for a burger and fries and came back with steak and baked potato. That was way out there. And right now we've got a great match setting up for the 9th and 10th frame. Wes Malott can strike out to shoot 237, but he cannot shut out Walter Ray. Walter Ray can strike out to shoot 238.
Come on, one time.
Looking for his
One time. Good shot.
3rd set of consecutive strikes this match is Malott.
That's it.
He liked it, and he gets them all. Big strike in the foundation frame for Malott.
Well, let's see if Walter Ray can carry on the right lane. Wes Malott knows how important this shot is. Take a look.
That's it.
Walter Ray matches with a strike of his own in the night.
Now, can the greatest bowler in the history of the sport strike out in the 10th frame and shut out Wes?
One pin lead for Walter Ray.
Come on.
That's a bad man. Bad mammal.
His 6th strike of this match.
How many times have we seen Walter Ray perform in the 9th and 10th frame to win matches, to win titles?
Looking for 4 consecutive strikes is Williams. Got it!
Well, in the 8th frame, Walter Ray decided to make a ball change. Same bowling ball, different layout, and he's perfect so far with that new ball change, needing one more to seal the deal.
5 in a row will do it. Malott can only sit back and watch. His 10th frame may be rendered useless. Walter Ray moves on. Man, what a finish.
That's why he's the greatest. Now Walter Ray gets to take on Wes Malott's roommate, Tommy Jones. It's been fun watching him do it for the last couple of decades.
8 strikes for Walter Ray Williams Jr. And there's Tommy Jones getting ready and waiting in the wings.
Play both the same.
And this will help Walter Ray's Player of the Year hunt.
Walter Ray hasn't even broke a sweat yet.
Malott ends with a strike. Not enough as Williams. Walter Ray strikes out in the 10th. You'll see it here in our CLR clean sweep. So Walter Ray ends with 5 strikes in match number 1. Up next for him, Tommy Jones, and nobody bowls stronger under the TV lights than Jones. He's won almost 80% of his televised battles. Welcome back to Long Island. Go RVing on the road. We jump in our wheels and head just a little bit west. New Jersey, North Brunswick, New Jersey, for our final Denny's event of the year. It's the 65th Denny's U.S. Open special time next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN. And welcome back to the GEICO Classic, the Easter GEICO in the house.
That's no Easter Bunny, sir.
No, it's not. He doesn't deliver candy. He delivers good rates on car insurance.
Love it.
So Walter Ray Williams Jr., the 4 seed, moves on to take on Tommy Jones, our 3 seed. And Walter Ray will start us off. 238-216 winner over Wes Malott. Now, Walter Ray was working off of 5 consecutive strikes. That's how he concluded match number 1. And he leaves the 10-pin. That's the 3rd time he's done that today.
Did you miss something in the that second strike in the 10th?
I don't have to say it every time, do I? That's why we have our fans out here to hold the signs. But I promise you, Randy, I will up my ham bone game.
Rob, you were ham boneless in match number 1, just so you know.
Here's Tommy Jones, native of Simpsonville, South Carolina, 11 tour titles, including one this year. He won back on January 6th, the ConstructionJobs.com Championships out in Reno, Nevada. And that 10 escapes a nasty knockdown.
With his win earlier this season in Reno, Tommy Jones became just the 2nd player to have won on all 5 of the named patterns, joining Mika Koivuniemi. It just shows you how well-rounded his game is.
Jones actually won his 4th career title here at this venue in the 04-05 season. Last time we saw him on television, didn't go so well for him. El Paso, Texas. Worst game of his 39-game TV career. He lost 241 to 158 to Chris Barnes. It was one of those mama told me there'd be days like these days. Snaps in for a strike.
That hit the pins really hard.
Walter Ray off a 9 spare here in the 2nd. There's a strike from the Hall of Famer as we take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. The number 3 versus the number 4 seeds. Jones taking on Walter Ray Williams Jr. And Walter Ray very much in the thick of the Player of the Year race, sitting 2nd right now. comes in third today, and he will tie Chris Barnes.
I think we ought to give a congrats to Tommy Jones, who went over $1 million in career earnings this week.
Carry, baby, come on. Yeah.
Back-to-back jacks for Walter Ray. He was asking for the carry, and he got a little bit. And now Jones, as you mentioned, this week became the PBA's 39th millionaire. We asked him about it, you know, how memorable it was. He said, I didn't know that had happened. Punches down another 10 pins.
Tommy Jones flirting with the outside part of the lane. That big high backswing creates a lot of ball speed. And look at that angle of attack. When we talked to Tommy last night, I said, Tommy, how'd you play the lanes this week? He said, well, I threw it really hard. He said, Randy, this is the most hook I've ever seen on tour. Now, keep in mind, Tommy's only been on tour since 2000. You know, back in my day, and Walter Ray backed me up on this. He said, if Tommy thinks this was a lot of hook, he should have bowled back in the 80s.
Two different bowling generations meeting here in Long Island. Make it 3 in a row for Jones. He is punishing those pins.
Tommy Jones back in Tulsa, 05-06 season on this very cheetah pattern, almost bowled 300. He throws a lot of strikes on this pattern, likes this pattern. Right now, he's trying to take down the greatest ever.
Walter Ray leaves the 10. He's had problems with that 10 today.
Perfect for a ring and 10.
He did no bowling during the week off on the tour. His response to that, I've been bowling well. If that ruins your game, you're in trouble. He said the biggest problem, and this is the first I'd heard of that, would be the size of his thumb due to the swelling that occurs when you're constantly rolling the rock. Take a break from it, swelling goes down. What was your response to the swelling of the thumb? You could never take time off, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a full-time player, I had to bowl 6 days a week. If I took 2 weeks off, it was like I'd come back to the lanes. It was like I never bowled before.
Third strike of the match for Walter Ray. That coming off the spare.
Give you some numbers here from Ebonite Digitrax. Tommy Jones is some 8 boards left at the arrows, but his break point is actually further right than Walter Ray's. Both players throwing it pretty fast, right around 20 miles an hour.
I'm taking off my jacket. Tommy Jones has an opportunity for a 4-bagger. There's another term for it, I believe. Hambone! Show me those signs, Strong Island. You see the Easter Bunny loves Hambone? Oh, we have some anti-Hambone fans in the house.
Good stuff, my friend. Good stuff. The 01-02 Rookie of the Year looking for a 5-bagger.
Yahtzee!
Let's go!
Jones cooking with fire, looking to become the only bowler to have won at least 2 titles in each of the last 4 seasons. He's up in match number 2. PBA.com is your best source for all the latest PBA news, including information about PBA Experience Bowling Leagues. Those leagues are a joint venture between the PBA and the United States Bowling Congress, and it gives league bowlers the chance to bowl on the same oil patterns the pros compete on each week. Leagues are always forming, so head to PBA.com today and click on the PBA Experience link to find a league in your area. You are experiencing 5 strikes in a row from Tommy Jones right now. He has a 31-pin lead. Up now, Walter Ray Williams Jr. to roll in the 6th. He is working off a strike and really needs to get another one right now.
Kerry, come on,
That's a Hall of Fame shot.
One more, he cuts it to 11, and right now I think Walter Ray is thinking that, you know, I better keep striking because Tommy Jones is on fire. Digitrax from Ebonite, this tells you where the players are playing at the arrows, their break point, which is about the 35 to 38 foot point down the lane. You can see how much more angle Tommy Jones is creating. Walter Ray much, much straighter. And that's just the difference in power.
A win today, and for the 7th time in his career, Walter Ray will have won at least 3 titles in the season. So Walter Ray fighting his way back into this. Tommy Jones has already dropped Walter Ray twice this week in match play. The lead at 11 now for Jones, looking for 6 in a row. Crack open that 6-pack. Man, Jones is on.
Where do you get these? And you never share. You never give any to me. That was good. I like that. All this power and speed, when this ball hits the 1-3 pocket, it almost looks like the pins don't have a chance to stand up. And that's how hard that ball's hitting. The only blemish on his scorecard, the ringing 10 in the first frame.
3-1 on television this season. 31-8 on television for his career. Just under 80% is his winning percentage under the lights.
That's a lot of 9.
Ends at 6.
That could have been 0 real easy. That one's on the edge, a little firm, misses it a little bit with his hand. You see that's out to about the 1.5 board. And Tommy Jones feels real fortunate that he got 9 on that shot.
Mows down the 2-pin.
Oh.
So a bit of an opening now for Walter Ray, down 20.
Some breathing room. Both players strike out and go to the wall. They both shoot .269.
He gets tapped with a 2-pin, I get tapped with 4 pins and 10 pins. Crazy.
And he just summed up the sport of bowling in about 2 sentences right there. He's right, you know, Tommy Jones got a nice break only leaving the 2-pin, but on the other hand, that ball was high.
It's all about brevity.
Yeah, what you said.
So Walter Ray Williams Jr., first to $2 million in career earnings, first to $3 million in career earnings, could hit $4 million today. But that is not going to help. Tommy Jones, the 39th millionaire this week, the 4th bowler to do it this season alone. But look at the numbers for Williams, Weber, who's our number 1 seed. There's Parker Bone the 3rd, Norm Duke. And these don't even talk about endorsement dollars. That's just flat earnings on the Denny's PBA Tour. So Walter Ray had some good momentum, but spares now in the 8th and the 9th. Jones in the 9th, off a spare.
Bam! Well, Tommy Jones is feeling it now, and he knows that he's just a couple of strikes away from putting Walter Ray to bed. Right now, the best Walter Ray can shoot is .237. Tommy Jones is in the 240s. All he needs is a mark in the in the 10th frame to shut out Walter Ray. Done deal. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
So Jones, the 3 seed, will move on. And at this point, what are you just trying to get away with the lanes here, Randy?
We just want to make sure that he stays dialed in for his next match. And I got to tell you, in a 5-man stepladder format, I've always liked the number 3 hole. That's where Tommy qualified. If you couldn't be the number 1 qualifier, I like the 3 hole. You get a game under your belt, you take the guy that's coming in fresh, Tommy Delutz Jr. You've got a great idea of what the lanes are doing. You get through him, and now you bowl 1 more game for the title. It's all about momentum.
That, and he finishes with the ham bone. An anticlimactic ham bone, but one nonetheless.
269, pretty strong.
Man, 10 strikes.
Great break in the 8th frame, took advantage of it, struck out and put Walter Ray away. Walter Ray inching ever so close to that $4 million mark, and I'll tell you what, if I was a betting man, and I'm not, I bet he goes over $4 million next week at the U.S. Open.
Takes care of the 7 spare.
Be better off if I didn't have to use that ball, though.
So Walter Ray will finish in 4th place today. He now has 62 points on the PBA Player of the Point Year race, 2 behind your leader, Chris Barnes. More from Tommy Jones as he takes on Tommy Delutz when we return. The GEICO Classic is brought to you by Atonic, the official footwear of the PBA. Atonic, first one there. By Motel 6, official lodging partner of the PBA. By H&R Block, when you got H&R Block, you got people. And by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. We welcome you back to Long Island, and the GEICO has taken over the Aaron's Dream Seats. There's a lot of sponsorship pops I just hit right there on a sofa there.
Look at the size of that lizard.
I don't, you know what, that gecko would be more useful today if he could deliver me some candy. That's a problem when you're away from home on Easter. Nothing, I got a little card and that's about it. All right, we are set for match number 3, Tommy Jones versus the hometown favorite, Tommy Delutz Jr.
Rob, I got some candy for you.
Cracker would be nice. Maybe Mr. Goodbar. And Delutz starts off with a strike as he kicks down that 10. Big crowd support here for the Flushing, New York native. And he always bowls well in the Empire State. His last win came at the 2001 Long Island Open. There's Tommy Jones, who took down Walter Ray 269-226 in match 2. Boom. Right where he ended in match number 2.
Let's take a look at the 2 lines they're playing. 2 different ways to attack this oil pattern. Tommy Delutz Jr., well, he's trying to use the Walter Ray method. He's going to throw it straight from out. Tommy Jones with the big hand, the big power. He's going to be way in, wailing it to the right.
It was a slow start to this season for Jones. The second half, what a turnaround. I'll tell you more about that after this. He already has beaten Delutz once this week, that coming in match play. And another jack. For Jones, he tripled his first half earnings in the second half and jumped from number 19 to number 10 in the point rankings, and it started with the first tournament of the second half of the season, winning in Reno on January 6th. That was his 11th title. Delutz has only 2 tour titles on his resume. Back-to-back jacks for Delutz, making his 2nd televised appearance of the season.
I've always liked Tommy Delutz Jr.'s game. Real compact swing, fast feet, steady head, open hand at the release point. Just good stuff. Here it is live. Watch this hand at the bottom of the swing, and as he goes to the release point, no grab, just open that hand right at the target.
Drop and give me 10 again. An opening 3 back. There has been no need for spare balls here in match number 3. Delutz, 3 frames, 3 strikes. Jones, 2 frames, 2 strikes. Can he match? Jones now in the 3rd. His 7th consecutive strike on the carryover from match number 2. Man. Take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. Delutz seeking tour title number 3, taking on the new millionaire, Tommy Jones, and his 11 Denny's PBA Tour titles. Jones looking to open up match number 3 with a hambo.
Here's your ham bone, Rob Stone.
Got some good ham bone science here today. I hope New Jersey brings them out next week as well. That's my favorite.
And speaking of ham bones,
yeah,
there's a couple right there.
I'm going to refrain from adding to that comment. Good move on my career part. Here's Tommy Delutz in the 4th. Another ham bone! He's fighting a smile there.
Yeah, he doesn't want to acknowledge the power of the ham bone.
Yeah, just get out of the way of the power of the ham bone. You have no control over it.
Tommy Delutz Jr. really loves bowling in this center. He's made 4 out of the 5 shows here in this center. And here he starts perfectly with 4 in a row.
Delutz drops the nickel. Nothing but strikes here in match number 3.
You are so in sync with the truck, aren't you?
I think the truck is in sync with me. I didn't even know that sign was there.
Ebonite Digitrax numbers, a lot like the last match. Tommy Delutz Jr. going with that straighter approach, a lot of speed, nice and straight. Tommy Jones way in, zipping it to the right with a lot of hand, a lot of speed.
And the streak comes to an end for Jones. What a wonderful run it was. He concluded match number 2 with 4 strikes and started off match number 3 with another 4.
When you have that much power and that much speed, you wonder, well, how in the world can he possibly leave a week 10? Well, a little too much speed on that shot. Ball came in late.
Only his 3rd spare of the day, and all of them 9 spares.
You know, we're getting to that point now where Tommy Jones strikes out, he shoots 279, and you have to wonder, is that going to be enough?
And all of this leading up to next week's U.S. Open, the 65th edition of the Denny's U.S. Open. Our coverage, special time, 2 p.m. Eastern, next Sunday. $100,000 and a 3-year tour exemption go to the winner. And the Player of the Year point race will be decided next week. Back on the strike train is Jones. But he'll give way now to the local product, Tommy Delutz, who started this match with 5 consecutive strikes. Welcome back to Long Island, and New York native Tommy Delutz off by 11. It has been nothing but strikes for him here in match number 3. And birthday wishes going out to our friend Kirk Von Kruger, the PBA tournament director, 54 years young today. There you go, Kirk. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Kirk.
And it is now the Motel 6 6th frame of Delutz. Gets all 10 to drop. He'll earn $600 from Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. He will also be eligible for a $6,000 bonus if he throws the front 6 more than any other bowler on television this season.
And remember, Rob, it's all about the Benjamins.
I have that tattooed on my back. Six-pack for Delutz. As I said, he always bowls well here in New York.
One of 5 bowlers to bowl a perfect game this week. Walter Ray had one. Mike Scroggins had one.
So does that mean we can officially talk about a perfect game right now? He's
No, it's too
perfect through the 6th?
No, you'll just jinx him.
Well, you brought it up, not me.
I just said he bowled a 300 game this week. Look what you did.
I did nothing. I did
Look what
nothing.
you did. Oh, yes, you did.
I am not taking blame for ruining Delutz's perfect game. See, I'm still new at this. I don't know when I'm allowed to bring it up. Like I'm allowed to bring up the no-hitter. So I look to you guys for guidance.
All you had to do was ask. It's okay, buddy. Maybe next game.
Takes care of the 7 pin for the spare. So for these two bowlers, pretty similar scorecards right now. Each with 5 strikes, each with a 9 spare. Rather, Delutz with 6 strikes and a 9 spare. Jones trying to make it 6 strikes with a 9 spare right now. And it's those pins are just like, there's no gravity. It just yanked up in the air when that ball hits it.
Yeah, it's like shrapnel after that ball goes through the pin deck. And right now, Tommy Jones 1 strike away from tying this matchup.
So both bowlers now with 6 strikes here as we begin our 8th frame. Looked a smidge on the heavy side, but got away with it.
It was, and the bowling ball is going to go right by the 9 pin. Tommy gets a little help from one of his friends and trips the 9 forward. And this match is all squared.
Big-time response from Delutz.
Yeah, much better shot there. He didn't get that one quite as wide as he did the frame before when he left the 4 pin. Beautiful form here. Watch this great knee bend. This ball's on line, and this one's what's called dead flush.
Delutz made the TV show here last year, finished 3rd, but it's been 109 events since his last title, 5th longest drought among exempt bowlers with a title. The winner of this match to take on the Hall of Famer, Pete Weber.
Same look as the last time on that left lane. Tommy Delutz Jr. once again leaves a 4-pin. Watch this ball, it's going to creep just a little bit high. He doesn't get the trip 4, and right now he's in big trouble heading into the 10th frame.
He's got to take care of this single pin spare first. No problem. Reading his nonverbals right now, you know he's disappointed. Jones strikes in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Looking for his 4th ham bone of the day. I'm not sure that's a stat anybody but me keeps.
Now here's the situation. Tommy Jones strikes first ball in the 10th frame. This match is over. If Tommy Jones were to go 9 spare strike in the 10th, Tommy Delutz Jr. could get up in the 10th frame, strike out, and win by 1. Watch the 10 go late. That's what he's looking for. That's the type of pin carry you need to throw a lot of strikes.
Only 3 tosses have not been strikes for Jones today. It's been nothing but strikes and then 3 9 spares today.
Big time strike. He did it to Walter Ray the game before. Now he does it to Tommy Delutz Jr.
He concluded match number 2 with 4 strikes. Match number 3 with 5 strikes, and that 9 is enough to move him on to the title game.
Tommy Delutz Jr. right now is thinking, you know, 1 4-pin. If I trip 1 4-pin, I could have still won this match, and it wasn't to be. The man who loves to go to comedy shows, travel to different comedy clubs around the country. There was nothing funny about what Tommy Jones did to him in this match. And it looks like the oil pattern is developed into that power game where the guys can get way in and hammer on at the release point and throw it to the right. We've seen 2 guys try to play the lane straighter. Tommy Delutz Jr., Walter Ray Williams Jr. both fall to the big power ball of Tommy Jones.
Thank you, Long Island.
Delutz, the Flushing, New York native. Big turnout here today to see him bowl, and not just today, all week as well. Tommy Jones moves on. He has been consistent today, a 269 and now a 268. Up next, a look back at today's event so far and a glance forward to next week's U.S. Open. We welcome you back to ESPN's continuing coverage of the GEICO Classic from West Babylon, New York, and our thanks out to Mike Saragano, the general manager here at AMF Babylon Lanes. 2nd consecutive season the PBA has been here on Long Island. Next week we head over a little west, New Jersey, and Pete Weber, the reigning U.S. Open champ. Our coverage of the 65th Denny's U.S. Open live next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern.
Number 4.
Time now for our GEICO Championship recap. And Walter Ray Williams Jr. took care of Wes Malott in match number 1. Here's match number 2.
Tommy Jones defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr. by the score of 269 to 226. Just really overpowering the pins. And in match number 3, TJ does it again, only this time to Tommy Delutz Jr. Just a sick display of power. He takes down Tommy Delutz by the score of 268 to 244.
Jones with 9 strikes in that match, so our championship match is on deck. Jones versus Weber. We'll have it for you when we return. Fourteen PBA Hall of Famers have won on Long Island. Earl Anthony did it 4 times. Pete Weber
It's fresh.
in position to win as well. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you, and there is Pete Weber getting set to take on Tommy Jones in the final of the GEICO Classic. Jones, 10 strikes in match number 2, had 9 in his last match, beating Delutz 268-244. That looks familiar.
No power outage in that shot.
Up now, Pete Weber hasn't won this season. He even thought of dropping his trademark sunglasses this week, but he's got those specs on today and focused on title number 35. There we go, Pete. Now, his time on television this season has been very un-Pete Weber-esque, and he said, you know what, things aren't working. Maybe it's time I fling these sunglasses to the side. And his wife, Tracy, went out yesterday and said, nope, sunglasses are back. I bought you a pair. They're staying.
A little shaky this season on television.
Nothing shaky about this start for Weber. Back-to-back jacks to open up the title match.
And the way the players are attacking the lanes is spot on. We talked about in the open of the show, Pete Weber doing exactly what we thought he would do, and that's play in between where the big power guys are and where the straight guys were. Walter Ray and Tommy Delutz Jr. from the outside part of the lane. The Tommy Jones, Wes Malott shot from the deep inside part of the lane. Pete Weber right in between the two.
Watch the power of Jones.
Push.
Crunch.
Bartender, make it a double.
So both Weber and Jones open up with a pair of strikes. Jones took care of Weber twice this week in match play.
Owned him.
Another strike for Jones, who's 5-1 on television this season. Three strikes for Jones to open up. Let's see if Weber can match it.
Let the ball off your hand. Keep your speed on it. Didn't let it off my hand.
Weber
Let
just
it off your hand. You
1
gotta
and
let it
3
off.
on television this season.
And watch Pete fall off balance here on this shot, and that's because he grabbed it at the bottom of his swing. You heard him say, I didn't let it off my hand.
Ooh.
Shot it that way all week.
On any other roll pattern, that plastic ball doesn't hook.
All week long, and the ball never did that.
With this much friction, you could see that plastic ball hook just a little bit, chops the 3 right off the 6.
You hear a little anger in that voice from Weber, and that's
Gotta do that every
one of
show
the
you
reasons he took off 2 weeks ago in Connecticut. Felt his anger was getting the best of him. He needed to just kind of relax and get back to his normal game. again heavy.
Not the way you want to start against a guy that's averaging 268.5. Pete Weber about to have back-to-back opens in the title match.
Game effort.
Got that way every time this week.
Not the kind of start the Hall of Famer wanted. In an early big hole, when we return, Tommy Jones looks to start with 4 in a row. The GEICO Classic is brought to you by GEICO. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com. By CLR, all kinds of dirty, one kind of clean. By Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. And by Denny's, home of the real breakfast made just for you. We welcome you back, and we will be with you till the conclusion of the GEICO Classic. The finals right now, Tommy Jones with a 35-pin lead over Pete Weber. Take a look at our CLR clean sweep, and it's from Mr. Jones. Last match, his first shot in the 10th, which sealed the deal.
Yes, sir!
That enabled him to take care of Tommy Delutz Jr. 268 to 244. Jones looking to open up with a 4-bagger here in the championship match.
Really wasn't worried about that one.
Yeah, as hard as that ball's going through the pins, you'd have thought that the Vortex would have sucked the 10-pin right off the deck, but it's a lot of power and a lot of velocity going through the pins.
Good use of the term vortex, by the way.
I try to get that into every telecast.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Well, Pete Weber
Yeah.
and Tommy Jones here in our finals. 116 TV finals for Pete Weber.
Something tells me that Tommy Jones is going to probably get to that number in the not-so-distant future.
Jones has got a beat on his 12th tour title and 2nd of the season. And the lead at 34. Up now, Pete Weber.
Now, if the pins could talk right before Tommy Jones's ball hits the pins, I'll tell you what they'd say.
Bounce back strike for Weber.
We really plowed them.
With all that power going through the pins, you know what they'd say if they could talk? Don't tase me, bro!
You've been saying that since like 10 a.m. out here.
I just can't get it out of my head.
Well, Pete Weber has been bowling like money all week, but kind of like loose change here in the finals. Open frames in the 3rd and the 4th, but he started with opening strikes and has one here in the 5th. Looking for one in the 6th.
There you go.
I don't think that's going to go on the DVD instructional how to strike,
then.
but a strike is a strike.
Ebonite Digitrax numbers. You see where the players are at the arrows, and the break point is down the lane at about 35 to 40 feet. Similar lines, but a lot more speed with Mr. Jones and a lot more power.
Looks good. And again, the 10-pin escapes for now.
And PDW has got to be sitting back on the bench going, you know what, I like what I'm seeing. Because as Tommy continues to leave ringing 10s, that gives Weber a chance to get back in the match.
Again, Weber with open frames in the 3rd and the 4th. Since then, nothing but strikes. A win today for Tommy Jones, and he would become the 30th athlete in Denny's PBA Tour history to have won 12 or more titles. And also, the only bowler to have won at least 2 titles in each of the last 4 seasons. 10. You've been waiting for a messenger to do some work all day.
Well, you know how the messenger works. The headpin goes to the sidewall, and it takes the 10 out, and the 10 goes down like a... Well, it just goes down. Let's leave it at that.
Weber with strikes in the 5th and the 6th, up now in the 7th. Again, looked like the balance was off a little bit.
Oh, man.
You know, this is the first...
good, and it just not good.
The first time that Pete's ever made a telecast on the cheetah pattern. He said he's won a couple of regionals on the pattern, but first time on the big tour.
But if he's that thing 100 miles an hour, too.
Of making the show, and I don't think Pete is real comfortable throwing it that fast. He's done it all week. He bowls great all week. He led this tournament all week. And right now, he just doesn't look comfortable throwing it at that speed.
Down 25. It's time to 7, and up next for Pete Weber and the rest of the PBA Tour is the U.S. Open next week in New Jersey, and he was very open and honest with us yesterday with his love affair of the U.S. Open. It's the only true test we have in bowling. That's the one tournament I like because the best bowler wins. That's no offense to all the other tournaments, but when you have, what are we talking, a 492 bowler field next week, rolling practice is going on tomorrow, I believe.
Monday, yep.
Some pro-ams, and then rolling Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Cuts finally happen. Really looking forward to getting to Jersey next week and seeing the U.S. Open. Jones maybe heading to Jersey on quite a roll, no pun intended. Another strike.
Right now, Tommy Jones's only focus is winning the 2008 GEICO Classic.
And he's in very good position, up 36 right now.
Tommy Jones is in the 220s already. The best Pete Weber can shoot 213. Tommy Jones needs to keep it on the lane and fill frames, and he will win for the 12th time in his career.
Three in a row.
That pretty much seals the deal. With any kind of pin count and open frame, Tommy Jones will be in the 220s.
Weber with a bounce back ball.
No. Got to be as stupid and play where you played all week instead of playing what's out there.
And that makes it official. Jones, your winner of the GEICO Classic, his 2nd of the season and 12th of his career. Weber takes care of the spare. And we'll roll his last ball here.
All right. 4 times great bowling. Especially today, too.
What a performance by Tommy Jones. Came into this title match averaging 268.5. He can strike out now for 259. That's pretty tough to beat. I don't care who you are.
His 8th strike of the final. And a ham bone to boot. His 5th ham bone of the day. Unreal bowling from Jones this afternoon. Why not? Why not? 9 strikes. Jones dropped 10 strikes on Walter Ray Williams Jr. in match number 2, trying to match it right now versus Pete Weber. No dice, but 9 enough. 257, 191.
Save Daddy some candy.
Tommy Jones with tour title number 12. Next week, the Denny's PBA Tour concludes with the 65th annual Denny's U.S. Open, where the winner of the event earns not only $100,000, but also a 3-year tour exemption. Special time next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN. We send down Laneside, Randy, with our winner, Tommy Jones.
Thanks, Rob. Tommy, after a slow start to the season, man, you've really turned it around. What is it about this cheetah pattern you like so much?
Well, I don't know. You know, I typically don't bowl very good on the cheetah pattern, but this week they hooked a lot. I could throw it hard, and you know, it's right in my comfort zone.
Well, I mean, you won on the same pattern in Tulsa. I mean, there's got to be something about it you like. You like to throw it hard, and you got that big high rev rate. That's got to be an advantage.
Well, it's definitely an advantage. You know, I could create hold today where a couple of guys couldn't, and you know, we all had the free hook. I just, I was fortunate enough to get a couple left, and they held and did big four.
Thanks, Tommy. Congratulations, Rob.
Jones, now the 30th athlete in Denny's PBA Tour history to have won 12 or more titles. He's also the only bowler to have won at least 2 titles in each of the last 4 seasons. A dominating performance from Jones, the number 3 seed this week. A 269, a 268, and a 257 in the final over Pete Weber. Jones, your winner. For Randy Peterson and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Rob Stone. Make sure to join us again next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern here on ESPN. It's the final PBA event of the season, the Denny's U.S. Open. Live coverage from North Brunswick, New Jersey at 2 p.m. Eastern. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Keep it right here. NCAA Women's Basketball Tournament action on deck. Tommy Jones, your winner from Long Island. We'll see you next week in New Jersey.